Have you ever noticed how often we feel powerless, as though life just pulls us from one situation to another? Why is it that despite all our ambitions, goals, and efforts, we sometimes feel like we're not truly in control? What if I told you that control isn't about changing the world around you, but about mastering the world within you? Today, we're going to talk about reclaiming control over ourselves, our lives, and our minds. Drawing from the timeless wisdom of Stoicism, we'll uncover the practical steps to put the reins back in your hands. Together, let's explore 5 foundational ideas that can make this real, starting with the art of distinction, the role of observation, and the importance of inner strength over external validation. Chapter 1. Master the art of distinction. Imagine yourself in a chaotic storm. You can't control the rain or the thunder, but you can decide where to seek shelter and how to weather it. This is the first Stoic teaching we need to internalize: the art of distinguishing what lies within our control and what doesn't. So much of our suffering stems from wanting to control everything, to shape people's behavior, or to predict outcomes. But Stoicism reminds us to pause and ask ourselves, is this within my control? If it's not, like other people's opinions, the past, or the unpredictable turns of life, then let it go. Focus instead on what you can control: your thoughts, your actions, your responses. Just imagine the energy you'll conserve when you stop trying to micromanage things you can't change. You'll channel it instead toward what matters and toward what's truly within your reach. Chapter 2. Become an observer of your mind. Now let's dive a little deeper. How often are we driven by impulse rather than intention? We make decisions based on fleeting emotions, only to regret them later. But imagine if, instead, you could step outside your thoughts, observe them, and respond only when you're clear on the right path. Think of your mind as a river, constantly flowing with ideas, impulses, memories, and fears. Too often, we jump in and get swept away by its currents. But when you practice becoming an observer of your mind, you don't dive in immediately. Instead, you watch the flow, recognize the patterns, and begin to see where those emotions and thoughts are coming from. You get to know your own mind in a way that very few people do. And as you gain this insight, you start to build a powerful self-awareness that allows you to shape your responses consciously, rather than react impulsively. So when something happens that might spark anger, sadness, or stress, take a step back. Watch those emotions rise, acknowledge them, and remember, they don't define you. They're just visitors passing through. The more you practice, the more you'll feel a profound sense of inner calm, knowing that you're the one choosing your responses, not your emotions. Chapter 3. Accept life's indifference. Think about this. Life is neither for us nor against us. It's neutral. It's like the sea, offering opportunities and challenges in equal measure, sometimes calm, sometimes stormy. And yet, we often take it personally. We think the world is somehow against us when things go wrong, or that we're owed success for our hard work. But in the Stoic view, life simply is. Events in life hold no inherent meaning or value until we assign it to them. So instead of blaming life or assuming things should always go our way, what if we began to see each event as neutral and focused instead on how we can respond wisely? This acceptance removes the victim mentality. No longer are you tossed around by life's waves. Instead, you're riding them, knowing that your worth, your identity, and your inner peace are separate from any external circumstance. Life doesn't owe us success or comfort, and it's not out to punish us either. It simply presents us with situations, and it's up to us to decide how we will navigate them. This acceptance of life's neutrality can liberate us from endless frustration and help us find real control. Chapter 4. Control your interpretation of setbacks. What do you think when things don't go as planned? Do you blame yourself, feel helpless, or decide that you're not good enough? We all experience setbacks. It's part of being human. But the power lies in how we interpret those setbacks. Instead of seeing failure or obstacles as signs of inadequacy, take a step back. See them as a signal that it's time to grow, to learn, and to push yourself beyond your comfort zone. One of the most powerful tools for self-control is the ability to reframe challenges as learning opportunities. Think of the Stoics who taught that setbacks are not roadblocks but stepping stones for growth. When you choose to see a setback as fuel to build resilience, to sharpen your character, you're not only taking control of that moment, but creating a more resilient, unshakable mindset. So, when you next face a setback, remind yourself, this is not the end. This is a chance to become stronger, wiser, and more capable. The true control here is in mastering the art of reinterpretation, deciding to see each challenge as a means to refine yourself. Chapter 5. Cultivate inner strength over external validation. Let's talk about something we all crave, sometimes without even realizing it. Validation. We seek it from our families, friends, society, and social media. And why not? Praise feels good. Recognition gives us a sense of belonging, and approval reinforces our choices. But here's the thing. When we depend on validation from others, we give up control. Inner strength, as the Stoics teach us, is about building a foundation within that doesn't need to be propped up by anyone else's approval. Imagine what life would look like if you weren't constantly adjusting yourself to fit others' expectations. Imagine setting goals, not because someone else thinks they're worthwhile, but because you truly believe in them. When you shift from seeking external validation to cultivating inner strength, you put yourself in the driver's seat of your life. You're no longer swayed by passing opinions or criticism. You're centered in your values, and that's where real control lies. So, start by affirming yourself. Look within to set your standards and trust your judgment. With time, you'll realize that the only validation you truly need is your own. Taking control of yourself is a lifelong journey, a continuous process of refining how you think, act, and respond to life's complexities. By focusing on what you can control, observing your mind, accepting life's neutrality, reinterpreting setbacks, and cultivating inner strength, you're equipping yourself with the tools of true self-mastery. Each of these principles brings you closer to the person you aspire to be, grounded, resilient, and in control of your destiny. Remember, control doesn't mean eliminating challenges. It means navigating them with a steady heart and a clear mind. It means that no matter what life throws your way, you have the power to choose your response. That's the essence of Stoicism and the path to wisdom. So, take these steps, start with just one if you need to, and keep building. Because the life you want is not about controlling everything around you. It's about mastering everything within you. Now let's dive into 5 more ways to truly take control of your life, inspired by Stoic wisdom. These next points are all about choosing your response, redefining success, freeing yourself from uncontrollable desires, embracing impermanence, and seeing obstacles as valuable teachers. Let's get started with the first idea, which is one of the most powerful skills you can cultivate, the ability to choose your response. Chapter 6. Choose response over reaction. We live in a fast-paced world. Every day, we face situations that can set us off. An angry driver on the road, a negative comment from a friend, or a disappointing outcome at work. Most people respond to these situations with knee-jerk reactions, often letting anger, frustration, or disappointment take over. But what if, instead of reacting immediately, we could choose our response? The Stoics remind us that between every event and our response to it, there is a small but powerful pause, a moment where we can choose our next move. Imagine yourself pausing for just a few seconds before responding to a challenging situation. In that pause, you gain control. You decide whether to respond with anger, patience, empathy, or simply walk away. This habit of pausing and choosing is what sets truly self-controlled people apart. It's not about suppressing emotions, it's about mastering them. When you practice this, you'll find that you're no longer a slave to impulsive reactions. Instead, you're in control and you're responding in ways that reflect your values and intentions. Start with something small, a moment of irritation or frustration. Pause, take a breath, and decide how you really want to respond. Each time you do this, you're strengthening the habit of choosing over reacting, which will lead to a more peaceful, intentional life. Chapter 7. Redefine success as inner peace. We're all chasing success, right? But let me ask you, what does success truly mean to you? Is it wealth, recognition, achievements? Or could it be something deeper, something internal? Stoicism teaches us that real success is inner peace, not fame or fortune. Why? Because those external markers are always at the mercy of circumstances beyond our control. But inner peace, that's something you cultivate within. Imagine redefining success as the ability to stay calm and collected, no matter what's happening around you. Picture yourself as someone who, despite life's ups and downs, can remain centered and content. When your measure of success is your own inner state, you're no longer dependent on the external world for validation. You become unshakable, grounded in your own well-being. True control, then, is not in achieving more, but in needing less from the outside world. It's about finding contentment within yourself, knowing that your worth is not tied to outcomes, but to your state of mind. So the next time you set a goal, ask yourself, is it for my inner peace or for someone else's approval? Let your decisions reflect your desire for peace and watch how your sense of fulfillment grows, regardless of what's happening around you. Chapter 8. Detach from desires you don't control. We all have desires, some big, some small. The desire to succeed, to be loved, to be respected. And while desires can drive us, they also set us up for disappointment. Often, these desires depend on factors outside of us. People's opinions, unpredictable circumstances, outcomes we can't guarantee. Here's where the Stoic practice of detachment comes in. It doesn't mean you stop wanting things or lose your passion. Instead, it means you recognize that some desires will remain out of your hands. Imagine holding those desires lightly, like sand in your palm. The tighter you grip, the more it slips away. But when you hold them lightly, you feel the weight without letting it control you. This light touch with your desires means you're not devastated if things don't go your way. You're still in control, still fulfilled because your happiness isn't tied to achieving every single outcome. This is the essence of freedom. You focus on what you can influence, your actions, your efforts, and leave the rest to fate. When you master this, you'll find yourself free from the endless chase, no longer a prisoner of desires that are beyond your reach. Chapter 9. Embrace the impermanence of life. Life is fleeting. Moments pass. People change. Even the strongest bonds evolve. But despite knowing this, we often resist change and hold tightly to what we have. Stoicism teaches us that impermanence is a fundamental part of life. Everything, no matter how precious, is temporary. By embracing this fact, we can live more fully and take control of how we respond to life's changes. Imagine accepting that every experience, good or bad, is temporary. This doesn't mean you become detached or unfeeling. It means you appreciate what you have while it's here and let it go when it's time. Instead of resisting change, you flow with it, understanding that life's beauty lies in its impermanence. When you embrace impermanence, you stop clinging. You stop fearing loss because you know it's a natural part of the journey. This perspective gives you immense freedom. You take control, not by forcing things to stay the same, but by accepting them as they are. And in this acceptance, you find a calm that helps you face any change with grace. When you face life with this awareness, each moment becomes richer, each connection deeper, and each experience more meaningful. Chapter 10. See obstacles as teachers. Let's talk about obstacles. How do you usually respond when you face a setback? Do you see it as a roadblock or as an opportunity? The Stoics had a powerful belief. The obstacle is the way. Instead of seeing obstacles as barriers, they viewed them as teachers, guiding us toward growth and self-improvement. Imagine if, every time you faced a challenge, instead of getting frustrated or feeling defeated, you ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Think of every setback as a hidden gift, a lesson that's meant to help you become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Instead of being weighed down by obstacles, you're transformed by them. This shift in perspective is where real control comes in. When you see obstacles as teachers, you stop fighting against them and start learning from them. You're no longer at the mercy of difficulties. Instead, you're using them to forge your own character. By viewing challenges in this way, you take control of your journey, building resilience and confidence with every hurdle. Each of these principles, from choosing your response to embracing impermanence and learning from obstacles, is a step on the path to real self-control. This journey isn't about controlling every part of your life, but about mastering the parts of yourself that matter most. Your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. Remember, control isn't a destination. It's a series of choices, small but significant, that you make every day. It's about staying calm amidst the chaos, choosing inner peace over external success, and embracing life's impermanence without fear. It's about letting go of desires you can't control and turning obstacles into opportunities for growth. By living in this way, you're not just surviving life's challenges, you're thriving through them. You're building a life rooted in strength, wisdom, and resilience. So, take these steps. Start with one. Commit to it, and let it transform you, because the life you want isn't found in controlling everything outside. It's found in mastering everything within. This is the path of the Stoic, the path of true wisdom, and it's one that you can walk every single day. Now think for a moment. Have you ever thought about what would happen if, instead of fearing challenges, you could embrace them? What if every struggle you faced, every obstacle that came your way, was an opportunity to become stronger, wiser, and more resilient? Imagine how unstoppable you would be if you could see every setback not as a problem, but as a teacher. Let's continue exploring the path to self-mastery with 5 more powerful principles from Stoicism. These ideas, seeing obstacles as teachers, loving your fate, guarding your mind, treating control as a journey, and building a legacy based on character, will help you embrace life with a strength that's unshakable. Chapter 11. See obstacles as teachers. Let's start with obstacles. We've all faced situations that seem to stand in the way of our progress, whether it's a professional setback, a failed relationship, or even a personal struggle. But what if, instead of seeing these challenges as barriers, we viewed them as essential lessons? What if each obstacle was a teacher in disguise? The Stoics had a powerful saying: "The obstacle is the way." They believed that every challenge was an opportunity to grow stronger. Think of an athlete who builds muscle not by avoiding resistance, but by pushing against it. Similarly, in life, the more we face and learn from our obstacles, the stronger we become. Imagine yourself in a moment of difficulty. Maybe it's a situation where you feel overwhelmed or discouraged. Now shift your mindset. Instead of focusing on the frustration, ask yourself, what can I learn here? How can this make me better? Each time you do this, you're training yourself to be resilient, to face challenges head-on, and to grow from them. By treating obstacles as teachers, you're no longer at the mercy of difficulties. Instead, you're mastering them, using them as stepping stones to a stronger version of yourself. Chapter 12. Practice love of fate. Now let's talk about a powerful mindset shift called amor fati, or love of fate. Life is full of things we didn't plan for. How many times have we been caught off guard by something unexpected? A change in plans, an unforeseen challenge, or a loss. Our first reaction is often to resist or resent these situations, but amor fati invites us to do something radically different. To embrace everything that happens to us, good or bad, as part of our journey. Imagine living in a way where, instead of wishing things were different, you could fully accept, even love, the reality as it unfolds. This doesn't mean you have to enjoy every hardship, but rather, you see each event as necessary for your growth, as if it were meant to be part of your path. When you practice amor fati, You're freeing yourself from the frustration of wishing life was different. You're accepting that every event, every twist and turn, is part of your unique journey. This acceptance doesn't mean passivity. Instead, it's about aligning yourself with reality and working with it, not against it. By loving your fate, you take full control of your attitude, transforming even the toughest situations into essential parts of your growth. It's a powerful reminder that we're not here to control life. We're here to embrace it fully. Chapter 13. Guard your thoughts like a fortress. Let's shift our focus inward. Imagine your mind as a fortress, a place that only you control. But like any fortress, it needs to be guarded because thoughts, both good and bad, are constantly trying to find their way in. Stoicism teaches us that mastering self-control begins with guarding our minds vigilantly. If we let negativity, fear, or doubt take residence in our minds unchecked, they can lead us astray. Think about the kinds of thoughts you allow into your mind daily. Are they empowering or limiting? Are they strengthening your resolve, or are they weakening your spirit? Taking control means being selective, only allowing thoughts that serve you, that align with your values and goals. When doubts or fears arise, don't let them dominate your mind. Acknowledge them, but then challenge them, redirect them, replace them with thoughts of strength, purpose, and resilience. Guarding your mind is a lifelong practice, and it's not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about training yourself to focus on what will empower you rather than limit you. Just as a guard would keep out intruders, keep out thoughts that don't serve you. This mental discipline will strengthen you over time, allowing you to stay clear-headed and grounded, no matter what life throws your way. Chapter 14. Treat control as a journey, not a destination. Now let's talk about the journey of control itself. So often, we think that mastering self-control is a destination we'll reach if we just work hard enough. But the truth is, self-mastery is a journey, a lifelong process of learning, growing, and refining. Imagine if, instead of trying to be perfect or reaching some fixed level of control, you embraced the idea of daily progress. Every day brings new challenges, new situations, and new chances to practice control. Some days you'll succeed, and other days you'll fall short. But each experience is a stepping stone, a chance to learn more about yourself. Control isn't about reaching some final state where you're impervious to difficulties. It's about committing to the journey, showing up each day with intention and awareness. When you treat control as a journey, you release the pressure of having it all figured out. You become patient with yourself, more willing to learn from each experience. Remember, progress is more valuable than perfection. Celebrate the journey because it's where true growth happens. Every step, every lesson, brings you closer to the person you're becoming. Chapter 15. Build a legacy of character over wealth. And finally, let's talk about legacy. When you think of legacy, what comes to mind? Is it wealth, possessions, achievements, or is it something deeper? Stoicism teaches that the truest, most lasting legacy isn't material. It's the character you build, the person you become, and the values you live by. Imagine yourself at the end of your journey, looking back on your life. What will truly matter? Not the accolades or the material success, but the integrity with which you lived. Building a legacy of character means living by principles that stand the test of time. Honesty, kindness, courage, and resilience. When you focus on character over wealth, you're not only building a legacy for yourself, but also inspiring those around you. People may forget what you achieved, but they'll never forget how you made them feel, the example you set, and the strength you showed in difficult times. True control is committing to a life that reflects your highest values, regardless of fame or fortune. So, make it your mission to live a life that's not just successful in worldly terms, but meaningful in a way that transcends the temporary. Let your actions today shape a legacy that speaks of strength, kindness, and integrity. As we wrap up, remember these final 5 steps to self-mastery. Embrace obstacles as teachers. Practice amor fati. Guard your thoughts. Treat control as a journey. and build a legacy of character. Each one of these principles helps you take control in a way that's real and lasting, not based on circumstances or others' opinions, but rooted deeply within yourself. Self-mastery isn't easy, but it's the path to freedom, resilience, and unshakable inner peace. Every step you take on this path brings you closer to a life lived on your terms. It's about choosing courage over comfort, wisdom over impulse, and resilience over fear. It's about showing up each day as a student of life, ready to learn, grow, and embrace each experience, knowing that you're building something greater than yourself. So, take these principles to heart. Start small, focus on progress, and keep going. This journey is one of the most rewarding paths you'll ever walk. By taking control in this way, you're not just navigating life, you're mastering it. And that's a legacy worth building. Thank you.